Let's start with offline classroom. Where do you want to rate it and why? The first one.
Okay, so
You used to read a lot, but I guess because of
I'm
your
not
exams.
trying I'm not trying to get into reading. I already read a lot and
Oh,
I'm really proud of that.
don't be
And
offended.
yeah.
Today's video is going to be a little bit different. We are not here to have a conversational video. Well, it is, but today we are ranking ways of learning a spoken English. So we will give our opinion whether it worked for us or whether it is going to work for you or not. Let me take you to that page and then I will explain what it is. So basically, we have 8 types of spoken English learning or 8 ways to learn spoken English, and we will be ranking them with S means the top, means fluency booster, A very helpful, B decent practice, C helpful sometimes, and D slow progress. So basically, we will share our opinion from our personal experience, how it worked for us, and that will be the format of today's video. So, and by the way, we will agree with Niyati's opinion because I think everything is helpful for me and this is my job right now. So, I think everything is fine. So, let's start with offline classroom. Where do you want to rate it and why? The first one.
Okay, so yeah, the offline classroom, it's the first one and it's actually the best one. I have thought about all of them and it definitely goes to S tier. Now, I have a very good reason for that. You have also studied in offline classes, and so have I, and so has everybody else in school. And we also have taken online classes at some point. Um, I would say offline classes is the best because you get to study with people, um, and so you listen to their opinions, you share your own opinions, and the teacher is right in front of you. It's literally the best way to learn. Also, you have a little bit of competitiveness, this friendly competitiveness with your classmates, and so you want to do better. And so, for that, you are active, you are in an active mode to always listen, to always speak. So, this is definitely going to be the best one
Yeah, I
for
completely
me.
agree. I started learning spoken English in an offline coaching center,
Hmm.
and there I met so many nice people. It was not just spoken English; my confidence also improved. I got to make friends. Even I'm still in touch with them. So I think also to boost your confidence and to be more social, regardless of how much of an introvert you are. If you are in a setting where you have to talk to somebody, then
Yeah.
you start adjusting some things, and at one point you become comfortable. So not only you are learning, you are making friends, and this skill, being able to communicate with anybody in real life, I think you can't ask for anything else, right?
Yeah.
So let's place it here. Yeah. uh, the second one, I know this is going kind of formal, but we will try to add our personal elements. And the second one is my personal favorite, journaling,
Hmm.
because I think majority of the time when we are talking to people, we either talk in first person perspective, like I am Roshan, I am from Siwan, I am from Bihar. So we are making our sentences like that. And when you write in a journal, basically you are just documenting your days, your life by writing. So where do you want
Yeah.
to place it, journaling or writing?
Okay, so I'm going to be a little biased towards it. I do not personally do journaling, so I wouldn't place it like on the very topmost or on the second top. But like to find a middle ground, we could place it in B. I would have
Okay.
personally chosen C, but
Mm-hmm.
it's considering your opinion. And I guess a lot of people, I mean, not a lot of people do it, but like at least some people do journaling. So we can place it in B
Uh-huh.
just for that. Now, I'll give you the reason. Actually, the thing why I'm not placing it on top is that you don't really speak. I mean, when you're writing, it's a really good thing. But if you're just starting out, if you have limited vocabulary, if you don't have much idea of sentence structure, you're just going to mess up. You're just going to write broken sentences that are not correct, and they kind of permanently get feeded into your brain. And then to kind of like remove that and to learn the proper structure can become quite challenging. Although, yes, if it is mixed with something else, for example, with listening, with speaking,
Yeah.
then it's a really good thing. because
Hmm.
then you're learning the correct thing and then you're writing something down, which is pretty great.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I
it could
agree
go
with you.
either in B or C. Yeah.
I'd be happy to keep it in B, because again,
Okay.
journaling is not something you have to do in English only, but our theme is to learn spoken English, right? So obviously we are going to keep
Yeah.
that in our mind. And I remember writing my first ever diary when I was in class ninth. And when I was rereading that thing, I was so cringed out, like, what the hell did I write? And why was I writing these things? On top of that, my
Hmm.
grammar, I was trying to write in English and everything was messed up, the sentences, but I think it was a good start. But again, now
Hmm.
we had just so many options to get feedback from people. Let's say if you
Yeah.
are aware of writing on a keyboard, or if you can type quickly, then you can just put it on ChatGPT and ask it for feedback. I know it's
Hmm.
too much work. Just first write your thought, then put it on ChatGPT to get feedback. But if somebody is willing to do that, I think their writing and speaking will improve
Hmm.
at the same time. As you mentioned that if you combine listening, but I'm asking you to use writing with ChatGPT or something just to get feedback. You are not asking ChatGPT to write it for yourself. That is completely. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are relying way too much for writing with AI and all. But if you
Right.
can do it, a little bit of effort, so it can go a little bit
Yeah.
above A or maybe S also.
Yes. Yeah.
How about reading?
Um.
I know that
About.
you are trying to get into reading.
Yes. Mhm.
You used to read a lot, but I guess because of
I'm
your
not
exams.
trying. I'm not trying to get into reading. I already read a lot, and
Oh,
I'm really proud of that.
don't be
And
offended.
yeah, like trying to get into reading. Can you suggest some books? No.
Uh, Obviously, guys, I
I'll suggest
suggest some
you
good
some
books.
books. Yeah. The um
So yeah, let's
okay,
talk
so for
about reading.
reading,
Hmm.
yes, like I think because reading is not speaking, now reading is also like you can do it with a variation. You can either read and then pause and then speak the sentence, or you can just read it in your mind. We're just considering it as a normal reading thing.
Hmm.
So I'm going to place it in A tier and not S because it does not involve speaking. It's
Yeah.
just reading.
Hmm.
The reason is that what I'm speaking today, I owe so much to just reading. I've talked about it so many times. I think I was 13 or 14 when I started reading books. Now, about books is you can have your own like fictional, non-fictional. There are so many out there. If you're into science, you go for science fiction. If you're into horror, you go for horror fiction. Just that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of reading. You can choose whatever you want, and there are so many vocabulary words. If you're obsessed with learning vocabulary, reading is your best thing, literally. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's reading is self-explanatory. I think it will go into the A tier, and you would probably also rank it really high, considering you also have your 30 days, 30 books challenge going on. You already
Don't
read a
ask
lot,
about
I think.
that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I think, as you mentioned, that there are varieties, or you can add your own elements of it. And if
Yeah.
somebody is willing to read loudly, then I think you will be able to improve your pronunciation. And this
Yes.
method, which takes a lot of effort, listening to an audiobook and reading at the same time. I don't know how many people
Hmm.
can do it, but if somebody is really obsessed with this language and they want to make quick progress, then I think this is something will completely change the way they learn this language and the way they see reading. Because I guess audiobook is underrated and kind of easy to do. Like if you give a book to somebody to read, they might, say, I will do it some other time. I'm feeling kind of
Hmm.
bored. And with the kind of attention span we have, it's quite challenging to read a book, right? But let's
Yeah.
say if you are fond of listening to music, you are trying to get into podcast. So audiobook could be another alternative, you know, and just
Hmm.
combining reading and audiobook, that will be S tier. But again, I know not a lot of people are willing to put that much effort. So I'm also happy to keep it here. A, very helpful.
Yes. 100%.
Uh, I think you went to an English medium school.
Yes, I did.
Yes. So let's talk about listening for a few minutes. Obviously, we have to talk about this listening. How much
Hmm.
importance do you give to listening, in particularly when it comes to like learning any language, not just English.
Hmm.
For example, if you are in a you are from Rajasthan, so do you guys have any special language there?
Yes,
Or
we have Marwadi over here. It's a dialect of Hindi.
Mhm. Are you able to speak that?
Yes, I mean, I'm not as fluent as my mom
Mm-hmm.
because my dad is from like Jaipur side, and
Mm-hmm.
so there, like, it's a different dialect of Hindi. So we kind of chose the basic standard Hindi, but being in Rajasthan, you cannot escape Marwadi. So I've been listening to Marwadi from like since I was born.
Mm-hmm. So I guess you are able to understand it completely.
Yeah, I can understand it very well and I can speak it as well, but just not as fluent as my mom.
Mm-hmm. So where do you want to keep listening here?
Okay, so listening, I would say there are like two kinds of listenings. There is active listening and there is passive listening.
Yeah.
Um, and so if you are honestly, if you're just doing passive listening, like you're doing something else and you're not really paying attention, there it happens a lot. Also for the audiobooks, I would say,
Mm.
like if you're not actively listening, it's not really going to do much.
Yeah.
Um, so it depends on that. But if you're actively listening, we would, I think, I'd ask for your opinion. Like, if where would you put it? I
I
would choose
think
either B or C, but like not that low. So I would say B is a safe round,
Mhm.
but you can choose.
I would like to keep it A because I come from Bihar,
Okay.
and
Hmm.
I had a strong mother tongue influence. I still have. I'm still not able to pronounce a lot of words correctly. There is that I'm still struggling with. But I guess
Yeah.
by listening to native speakers or the kind of people I follow, Indian people,
Hmm.
they speak perfect English. At least their fluency is perfect. The way they pronounce words are
Wait,
absolutely.
okay. I would like to interrupt you a bit over here. Yes, okay. I'm sorry. It's not B or C, it's A. And so because I kind of confused it with just like what we
Like
do
numbering.
online.
Yeah.
Yeah, listening
Hmm,
is like what you surround yourself with.
exactly.
So, yes, it would be an, yeah, please continue. Yeah.
Mm. So that's what I was telling you. Sometimes you get into the habit of consumption, like you are just listening
Yeah.
passively. Even if you want to become
Hmm.
intentional, it's just our nature. Like we scroll reels.
Yeah.
At one point, we are not able to stop. So I guess listening is also for me similar. When I'm just watching some of my favorite YouTubers, I'm not paying attention to learning this language. I'm just enjoying the moment. I'm just enjoying the content. But if somebody is able
Hmm.
to do it like a shadow practice, they are listening and at the same time repeating after them, then it goes to S tier. But if you're just listening, then it is very helpful. And I think you agree. Let's keep it here. A, very helpful,
Yeah.
right? Whom do you like
Yes.
to listen? Do you like to listening? Do you like to listen foreigners or Indian speakers? Like just for
Um,
entertainment.
Okay, just for entertainment, I actually watch and listen. I
Mm-hmm.
don't just listen. I've tried audiobooks if we
Count
just
that.
talk about
Yeah.
listening.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I listen to native speakers. Like it's not a preference. It's just something that I got into and then I never switched my lane. So that's the thing for me. I consume native English speaker content, if that's
Yeah.
what you're asking.
Mm,
Yeah.
the next one is online learning, like taking online classes. And guys, this is my job. So I think it goes to
Hmm.
S tier. But how about you? Where do you want
Yeah.
to keep it?
Yes, it can go into either S or A because just like offline classes, online classes are also classes. You are having
Yeah.
one-on-one session or you're having a group session. Okay, the good thing about online classes is that you can choose to have one-on-one session if you
Mm,
don't like having a group, if you don't like that competition, if
yeah.
you want the teacher to be paying attention to just you, this is very much possible in today's day, and that is through online classes.
Mm,
But also, sometimes people don't really take classes, online classes, as real classes.
yeah.
They think of them just like because it's virtual, it's difficult to associate it with your everyday life.
Mhm.
So they might not take it seriously, and that's why now this depends from person to person. But I would put it in S tier because it's also um, eventually they are classes for you where you're
Exactly.
speaking and listening, you're doing both the things. Yeah.
Mhm. And guys, I'm not telling you because it is S tier. I'm not telling you that it is S tier because I teach. I'm telling you because I have experiences personally. I have been to online classes, offline classes, and also I have taken online classes. And
Hmm.
during lockdown, I was so fascinated by this language. I wanted somebody to guide me. Like I needed somebody with whom I could consider that accountability partner, that show up there, give me feedback. And as you mentioned, that
Yep.
the flexibility is there. Like if you're not willing to be in a group environment, you have the option. You can hire a teacher,
Yes.
and that person can be your accountability partner. You are, and when you spend at least 30 to 60 days with a single person, then that person is able to identify all your mistakes. And it is also not like
Hmm.
AI, because there are chatbots. We will talk about AI in a moment, but I like to just add here that a lot of people are scared that the jobs of teacher are going to be replaced, which might, but I think right now AI is not that developed. If I think
Hmm.
you use ChatGPT a lot, I use a lot,
Yeah.
but there is one problem with that. It is always talking in flowery language. Even if we are making
Hmm.
mistakes, that's a good job. This is part of learning. It gives you that positive
Yeah.
feedback way too many times, and we think
Like
that,
if you murdered somebody,
yeah,
and if you say, I haven't written it on ChatGPT, but I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
if you write that first, breathe,
Hmm.
relax. It is completely okay to murder someone, and then it will give you
Solution
yeah,
also to escape that.
yeah.
So yeah, it can be fun also online classes, but it depends on your motivation level, because as you
Hmm.
mentioned that a lot of people are not able to associate with virtual classes. They lose
Yeah.
motivation at one point, that maybe I will do it in the evening once I'm feeling
Hmm.
comfortable. So I think it is in between S or A, but because this is my job, I'm gonna put it in the S tier.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
And now the favorite topic of everyone, AI. So, like
Hmm.
overall, what's your opinion on English learning, language learning, and AI?
For AI, yes, just like you said, the most popular one is ChatGPT. I think um, a lot of people have made videos about this, like how to access ChatGPT
Hmm.
to learn English, to speak English.
Yeah.
So, but I have also tried it personally. It's great. It's great for beginners. It's great for somebody that has a phobia of
Hmm.
speaking to another real person,
Yeah.
but it's not the best because, like you said, a chat gpt has a specific tone. I would say it can go in B or C. It's
True.
not the worst, it's not the best, so we
Totally.
have to find a middle ground for that. What's your personal opinion on chat gpt? Because for me, it's just you're not really talking to a human being. It's going to have the same tone
Mm-hmm.
at all
I
the
think
times.
I'm not anti AI, because it has helped me a
Hmm.
lot with my writing. I'm not
Yeah.
asking it to write my content, but it has helped me to improve my grammar. But it hasn't happened
Hmm.
over one night or over a month. It has taken way too long. So I want to keep it in C or D. Why? Because the progress is slow. Listen, I know for
Yeah.
beginners, they can think that, wow, I'm learning way too quickly. But after one point,
Yes.
you will think that maybe I'm not learning that quickly. For example, what can
Hmm.
you learn from ChatGPT right now? Personally, like, do you talk to it about English learning, or do you talk about some other helpful things?
Personally, I use it for like other things. If I just
Hmm.
have to, because we don't use Google anymore. Nobody uses
Yeah,
Google anymore to
I
Google
guess.
stuff
Hmm.
because it's so, we've become so lazy. So I just Google some stuff on, like, sorry, not Google. I just search some stuff on ChatGPT and just
Hmm.
gives me an instant answer. But if I have to use it for learning, I
Hmm.
wouldn't use it for learning because I've tried it for like, I give it a scenario. For
Yeah.
example, like, teach me like I'm five, or
Hmm.
teach me like I'm beginner, teach me like I'm intermediate. But after some time, it just sets the same tone for
Yeah,
everything.
and
It doesn't
repetitive too.
understand you specifically. It just forgets the conditions that you give.
Uh-huh.
And it like, so that's why it really doesn't fulfill that demand. So
Hmm.
we could keep it, yes, initially it's good, but after some time, it's not really going to help you out that much. So
Yeah,
we could put it in D. It is kind of a slow progress thing. Your progress is still there, but it's
you are
it's
making
not as
progress.
fast as the other
Hmm.
options. Yeah.
And also, I haven't used any paid version of AI tools, so I'm not sure
Hmm.
how intelligent they are. Like I have used the free
Yeah.
version of ChatGPT or Google Gemini, so I don't know the thing you mentioned that at one point they forget our prompt also. Like you have to keep it
Yeah.
reminding that I'm a 5-year-old kid. So ask questions like that.
Right.
But it forgets all
Yeah.
the time. And the other thing about AI is that, like, if you're not self-aware, if you're not able to identify your own mistakes, then it can be also harmful for you. Because you learn that, for example, I was talking to one of my clients and he told me that how fed up he is with this phrase, "Just Niyati, how are you?" So you reply, "I'm good. Thank you for asking." So after one point, this phrase becomes quite repetitive. Thank you for asking. Like we are just trying to be too polite. And AI is like that.
Yeah.
It is always polite with you. So maybe you will get into that zone, like to whomever you are meeting, even if you're not in good mood, if they are asking, "How are you, Roshan?" "I'm fine. Thank you for asking. How about you?" So like I'm just giving you a simple scenario. So that's why. And with other tools, I don't want to create art. Like we watch films, we read books. So if something is
Yeah.
written by AI, I'm not going to read that. If something is made by AI, a movie or a web series, I'm never going to watch that. So I'm anti-AI with that. But with English learning, with language learning, it can be helpful, but slow progress. So D, you agree?
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. About this, about the thing, like the art thing you mentioned,
Hmm.
I actually tried creating a short story for English learning through
Uh-huh.
AI. It
Hmm.
just forgets the characters. Like your
Okay.
best friend is murdering you in the end. It's not even a thriller genre. Like,
Uh-huh.
what are you
Uh-huh.
doing? It just keeps messing up and forgetting things.
Yeah.
So yeah, D is the I guess the right place for
Hmm.
AI. For now, at least, I know it's going to improve, but for now,
Mhm.
it's definitely on D.
But I don't think anybody who is like, we at one point we know that it's gonna take over art to some extent, because it will be cheaper than hiring a human
Yeah.
person or a writer, human
Yeah.
person. But I'm never gonna support it. I don't know whether you are aware or not, but on Disney Hotstar or many platforms, they are producing shows from AI. They're literally putting it on their platform so you can watch it. So I don't think I'm ever gonna watch those things.
I was not aware, and that is scary if that's
Yeah,
happening.
it is.
Yeah.
Like the next point is also quite similar to AI, cinema
Hmm.
or web series. How do you think
Hmm.
and where do you want to put it? Cinema or web series?
It's not as bad as AI because I have learned so much. I have learned so many phrases through movies, but now it depends on what kind of movies you watch. If you're just watching something like something in Hindi, you don't expect to learn in English, right? You
Yeah,
have to completely change
the
the
language
mode of
of your
content.
media consumption. My favorite line.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
yeah. So if you're watching English content, be it the Netflix series or just movies or like anything in general that is related to English,
Mhm.
it's pretty good. It kind of tells you how people actually talk to each other rather
Yeah.
than just the bookish talk, which is not really used. Um,
Mhm.
but also this is like this can be distracting, so you
Yeah.
are there to learn the language, but then you might get into the story, you're watching their expressions and the actions and everything, and you
Mhm.
might forget that you're there to learn English. Sometimes you might not understand a sentence or a word, but you're
Yeah.
too lazy to just pause the movie and Google it because you're just so much into the movie. So
Exactly.
that's why I will put it on C. It's the aim of that movie is to not make you learn English, it's to entertain you.
Mm.
However, because living in India, English is not our mother tongue. So, movies are a good way to kind of surround yourself with English.
Yeah.
So, it's not the worst, it's not the
Mhm.
best, obviously, but I think it deserves the C tier. But what about you? What's your opinion?
100% agree. The only difference between reading and watching a movie is that you are kind of mindful when you are reading. Even if you get into that zone
Hmm.
of escapism, you're just reading it for the sake of entertainment. But because of the text, because it is slow, you can remind yourself, oh, my goal is to improve my language. But what happens when
Yeah.
you are watching anime or watching TV series or watching film, you forget your aim, that you are supposed to learn phrases, you're supposed to talk to people. It is just so
Yeah.
entertaining and so fun that it just becomes part of your what character or your whole personality, that I love this, so I'm going to talk about this throughout my life. So again, it can be it is distracting, not can be, it is completely distracting. But if your willpower is strong, you know that you are supposed to learn English, then good luck. But yeah, I also want to
Hmm.
keep it C. It is helpful. I think the way I speak, the way I talk, and all my ideas come from cinema or the kind of media I consume. But again, it is
Yeah.
not as helpful as other things we have discussed so far.
Mhm.
And the last thing, what we are doing right now, a virtual podcast or a podcast, where do you want to keep it?
I would keep, okay, so podcast, there are like several kinds of podcasts.
Yeah.
Um, One is kind of like where we are interacting with each other.
Hmm.
Now the other kinds you can find is like just very slow English podcasts, the one that are kind of created by AI. I mean, there's human being behind, but like he's not really speaking. Um, so it this one really depends. Like it has to be niche specific. For
Yeah.
us, I would say it's pretty good because now we are not interacting in a bookish language. This is how you would interact to a native speaker as well. This is how you would talk to a real person. So when people are watching these kind of videos, they get an idea like, okay, this is
Hmm.
how I'm supposed to act, this is how I'm supposed to talk, this is how to answer a question, this is how to ask a question. um, there are also like sleep podcasts, if you've heard of it. They're
Yeah.
like 10 hours long English, like
Hmm.
you're sleeping, how are you learning? So it really depends, it really depends. So I'm kind of confused about this one. I guess we would go with your opinion. What's your opinion on
I think
podcast?
again it is also similar to reading, because sometimes
Hmm.
you, like you mentioned, the niche thing, that if you are just learning spoken English, for beginner it is very helpful. For
Yeah.
beginner, but for us, like at one point we want to explore other things. Let's say if you are interested in certain kind of news, if you want to talk about celebrities, a particular health issue. Let's say
Hmm.
we are struggling with sleep and we started watching Andrew Huberman, like how to sleep properly, how to go to bed early. Then we forget
Hmm.
about English learning. But again,
Yeah.
we are learning something. So I think it is decent practice. It is similar to listening, because you can also
Hmm.
imitate them. You can also shadow practice them. So if you are doing it, then it is very helpful. But if you're not shadowing it, if you're just listening it as a passive thing, like while driving, while going for a walk or exercising, then it can be decent practice, because you are learning unconsciously. You are getting some kind of
Hmm.
input there. So maybe be decent practice.
Yeah.
Practice is mentioned there, but it doesn't mean that you are talking to somebody. So maybe
Hmm.
some people will get confused, but we're not talking, you are listening, but input is also a form of practice, I guess. Because at the end of the day,
Hmm.
if you're not getting ideas, then how are you supposed to talk, right?
Yeah, that
Do
makes
you get my
sense.
point? I mean, I love Dr. Andrew Huberman. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a nerd like him. He talks like, if you ever listen to him, you see that how deeply he
Hmm.
gets into a topic. And when you are listening to a person regularly, let's say you listen to him regularly for 20 to 30 minutes, then you get
Hmm.
into that zone that, maybe I can talk like him or her. So I think that is a decent practice if
Yeah.
you are doing it consciously. So maybe we can keep it B or C. Where do you want to keep it?
Yeah, let's keep it on B because there are good podcasts out there. We just
Hmm.
have to identify the good ones. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. B. So I guess how many methods are there? Four, eight. We discussed eight methods. I think there are way too many, but if you guys have watched this far, let us know which one has helped you more than the other ones. And are we missing something here? You can leave that comment, that what we should talk next time we need, or we can make another tier list, maybe about books or cinema, films, or whatever you want to. Just leave your thoughts. And what about you, Niyati? Do you think we are missing something here?
I don't think we are missing anything per se because, I mean, yes, like there are a lot of other things, but they are inside these eight things.
Yeah,
So we have
it
just
will come
like
either
used a
list.
broad. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So it will be more or less in these eight things. So
Hmm.
we have covered everything, but everybody has their own unique technique of learning.
Yeah.
So they can mention it in the comments if they think we missed something, or if there is one thing that also they can mention, like what helped them initially in their journey and what methods they are opting now. That can be
Hmm.
very helpful for others reading the comment.
100%. And about your channel, I think you are only interacting with foreigners these days. So tell us about that. How did you get that idea and how is it going?
Um, It's I always had this idea like from the beginning, but I just
Mhm.
didn't know how to start. And honestly, like for foreigners, they can be quite picky because they do not trust everyone. They're like, I don't know who's approaching me. What do they
Mhm.
want? So if you already, because then I gradually started establishing these videos, it became easier for me to approach them because they
Mhm.
started trusting me. They're like, okay, she genuinely does this. She makes content with foreigners. So now it's easier and it's better. It's becoming a specific niche now. Uh, Before it was kind of mixed. Sometimes I was having conversations with them, sometimes I was not. But yes, these days mostly I'm just having conversation with them, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah. How is it different from talking to Indians or people from our country? Yeah, of course, Indians.
It's it's not that different because people are people. You talk to somebody and you might relate to somebody that is sitting on the other end of the globe and not relate to somebody from here, or you might
Mhm.
just genuinely connect with someone over here and not be able to connect with somebody that is from somewhere else. So it does not really depend on the country, it depends more on your interests. But the good thing is English language, because that's the common language that helps us connect with people all across the globe.
Mm.
And I forgot the question. What was your question?
The difference, Indian and foreigners.
Yeah, so the
Like,
difference is that um, these people are genuinely so curious about things. Um, they're like, yeah. So if it's like, for example, Holi. If I was talking about Holi with one of these, he was from South Africa, yeah. So we were talking about Holi and he was genuinely interested, like, how did it start, why did it start, okay, why do you
mm,
use colors? And I was like, wow, we
never
never
thought
think
of this.
about these things,
Yeah.
and so
Hmm.
this it just opens your mind. And they share their culture, and you're like, okay, well, similar things happen over here. You were also colonized, I didn't know that. So these kind of things, it's just really amazing to connect with
Hmm.
somebody all across the globe, because their mindset is pretty different. They are more much free than us.
Yeah.
We have a very structured, rigid path, like you have to study, then you have to get a proper job. For them, it's like, I just didn't feel like going for a job, so I started teaching online, or I um, went to another country to
Hmm.
just meditate. These kind of
Yeah.
things. Yeah, it's funny, but it's true. Sometimes we are
Exactly.
not really able to resonate with how
The
their
kind of
mind works.
lifestyles they're leading. Maybe it's also with
Yeah,
socio-economic thing, because in our country, you see, not everybody can afford to, like, they can't even afford a Nepal trip. Me, guys, I'm talking about myself. So, like, for them,
yeah,
they
it's
can just decide that I want to visit India. They will pack their things and they might
Yeah,
visit
but
us.
it's also they have an upper hand because the English is their native language, so they can just move to another country and teach. There is
Yeah.
a lot of demand in China, in
Hmm.
Thailand, in what is it
All the
called? Sorry,
Asian countries, I
Japan.
guess. Hmm.
Yeah, so they genuinely want native English teachers in their schools, and so they are
Yeah.
paid a lot. Now we cannot. There is no demand of Hindi.
Yeah.
We cannot go
Exactly.
outside India and be like, yes, I
Hmm.
can teach Hindi. So they
Hmm.
actually have an upper hand. They can choose to quit their jobs and move to other countries and teach English. We do not have that choice.
Hmm.
Also, yes, they get paid better because of um,
Yeah. And
dollar India
also,
conversion. So
I think
yeah.
if you have accent like them, maybe it is possible. But again, that's going to take a lot of training to build that accent like them.
Why would we want accent
Means
like them?
if somebody is willing to work like them, if they want to work in China or as a teacher in Japan, so
No, it's only possible if English is your native language.
okay.
So you have to be a native English speaker. So that's why I'm saying they have an upper hand. Because
Hmm.
otherwise, like, we could go there and teach, but they do not want somebody who does not speak English by birth. That's the thing.
Okay, last question. Like, what's your opinion on like accent, especially Indian people who are trying to get into accent? What do you have to say, or what's your personal opinion on it?
Some people say that, like, don't care about accent, just have your
Hmm.
own accent. I guess you, like, that's because you cannot do accents. That's why you're saying that. See, the thing
Mm.
is, we have an advantage because English is not our mother tongue. So you don't have to have a specific Indian accent. It does not matter. You can
Hmm.
have whatever accent. If you want American accent, go watch American podcasts, practice American English.
Hmm.
There is a British accent, there is Australian accent, there is South African accent. There are so many to choose from, and that's the good thing about you. Nobody can say that why do you have an American accent? That's
Hmm.
because you chose to have that American accent. You have the choice.
Yeah.
Now, yes, if an American person has an Australian accent, that's when it gets weird. Like, why do you have Australian accent? Because you've
Yeah.
grown up in an American environment, right? So
Hmm.
I think it's fun. It's a skill, it's a hobby.
Yeah.
If you want to go for it, then go for it.
Yeah.
It
I
really
have
doesn't
never
have to
thought.
strictly be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's very difficult. I don't want to try it. I always give the example of Shahrukh Khan. Like I love the way he speaks. You see, people like him, who have
Mm-hmm.
perfect pronunciation. I think wherever they go, they talk like that. They are not imitating or trying to speak like Americans or Britishers. So again, it's a personal choice. It's a subjective thing. If somebody is willing to put that much effort, great for them. If not, then again, it's difficult.
Yeah, I'm not saying that go and imitate the accent like somewhere else. Like Alia
Hmm.
Bhatt did. Have you watched the news? It doesn't feel genuine. I'm just saying that like just if you want to stay with the accent that you have, it's
Hmm.
good. But what I'm saying is like you can learn an accent. There's no shame in that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, 100%.
As long as you are able to be clear with somebody with the accent that you have, it's completely okay.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Niyati. It's gonna take a couple of hours to edit this video. I'm not sure how it's gonna turn out, like especially where to put our face, where to put that whole chat box, whatever
Hmm.
that is called. So I will have to figure out this new style of editing videos. So let's see how it turns out.
Yeah, but thank you so much for having me on your channel. It was a different kind of video. Nobody has done this before. And don't be surprised if you see similar type of videos on other people's channel now.
And don't be surprised if this video fails completely or flops completely.
Well, but it's about interest. I was genuinely interested in doing this video. And
Yeah, I mean, we have been
it's
doing this.
genuinely helpful if somebody people watch it, then yeah, it's great
Hmm.
for them.